Hi, I'm Rich Torrey. Welcome to another Level Up Cartooning. All you need to follow along with me is a pencil and paper. It doesn't get any easier than that, right? Now, before we get started, make sure you hit the thumbs up and subscribe button as it helps this channel to grow, and hit the bell so you never miss a lesson. Well, as promised, I've gotten stuff back on the walls, and by and large, the Level Up studio is back, baby. And if I dare say, maybe even better than ever. So, yeah. Anyway, if you were with me last week, then you know we drew the cover art for the soundtrack of the timeless classic, A Charlie Brown Christmas, considered perhaps the best Christmas animated special of all time. And if that was number one, then I suspect number two would have to be How the Grinch Stole Christmas, which means it's only fitting that we draw something from that. Released in 1966, the year after A Charlie Brown Christmas, How the Grinch Stole Christmas is widely considered one of the greatest animated holiday specials ever produced, directed by legendary animator Chuck Jones and narrated by Boris Karloff. The story, the animation, the music, just incredible. It's definitely one of my favorites of all time. Today we'll be drawing the mean one himself, the Grinch. Our pose and scene today finds the Grinch standing atop Mount Crumpet, holding his ear up as he catches the first hint that his plan to ruin Christmas for all the Whos has not worked. So on that note, let's draw. So we're going to draw our Grinch Christmas scene step by step, giving you the secret formula to be able to draw it again and again. If you've watched any of my other videos, you know I normally use the character's head to figure out how big the entire character is. In this semi-crouched pose, the Grinch, perched atop Mount Crumpet, is just under 3 heads tall. In other words, however tall we draw the oval for the Grinch's head, his entire body will be just under 3 of those tall, with the peak of his Santa hat sticking up a little bit at the top. Okay, so what do you say we draw the roadmap for our Grinch Who Stole Christmas scene? So there's our roadmap for our Grinch Christmas scene. Now before we go on to step 2, I want to give you the layout of our scene from atop Mount Crumpet using simple shapes for those of you who want to screen grab. Just something to help you when laying out your drawing. Okay, so now we're on to step 2. In this step, we do what I call roughing out the features. I want to remind you that until the third and final step, you want to be drawing as light as possible. I use guidelines to help me to position the Grinch's features, body, and overall pose, but we don't want those guidelines in the final drawing. So you want to draw them light enough to be able to erase them easily. Okay, so let's rough out the features for our Grinch Christmas scene. Okay, so there are the roughed out features of our Grinch Christmas scene. So now with the roadmap done and the features roughed out, it's time for that final step. In step 3, we get to have fun. We get to draw the final details of the Grinch. We don't have to guess where to put things because we've already done all the hard work to figure that out. In this step, it's okay to draw darker, but don't press too hard or mindlessly retrace over the lines you've already drawn. The goal here is to always draw with an eye on tweaking and improving all the way until the very end. Okay, so let's draw on the details for our Grinch Christmas scene. And that's how you do it. There it is, our scene of the evil one himself, the Grinch, atop Mount Crumpet from the classic animated holiday special, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. So how do you think you did? Understand, if you've never drawn the Grinch before, then you cannot expect to have drawn him perfectly. You'll notice I don't spend time coloring our Grinch Christmas scene during this video because I want my lesson to focus solely on the drawing process. Now you have the secret formula, the process for drawing the Grinch in the scene from How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And with that, you can draw it again and again. By all means, color it when you're done. I promise each time you draw it, it's going to be a little better and a little easier. I also promise the more you work with me, the better you're going to get at all of your cartoon characters. So I'd love to see your version of our little Grinch Christmas scene. If you can, take a picture and post it on either Facebook or Instagram. And don't forget to include the hashtag #LevelUpCartooning. I hope you had as much fun as I did with this one. Remember to subscribe and thanks for joining me. Until next time, keep drawing, my friends.